Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard a few approvals, so I'm going to keep going. Just let me know if there's any technical difficulties. The second thing I need to point out before we start is that I am recording this webinar as well, so it will be published onto our YouTube account as well. So if you do ever need to skip out, or if you need to rewatch anything, that should be available. So yeah, okay, so today we are going through the workflow webinar. From the list of invites, there are quite a few people joining us. So I think it's best if we just kind of start on time. And then we can let everyone else catch up. Okay, so introductions first. My name is Matthieu Suhandynata. I'm an implementation consultant for Agilyx UK. I've been with Agilyx UK for 3 years now, and overall I've been with Agilyx Group for a total of 6 years. So I was working for Agilyx Australia for my first 3 years of my UBW career, let's say that. So I've had my fair share of experience, and hopefully today I can impart some knowledge to you guys as well. In terms of my speciality, I don't really have a core module that I sit on. I'm kind of like an all-rounder, but usually people go to me for fixed assets as well, but I've got a kind of like an all-round module experience. Okay. So this is the agenda for today. So basically we're just going to go through, we've done an introduction. So workflow on milestone 7 of Unit 4 Business World. And then logging values on workflows, that will be useful for troubleshooting. And finally, how to set up user-defined actions for your workflows. And then finally, we'll have some question and answers at the very end. I think we'll just keep the Q&As till the very end, so it doesn't disrupt the flow of the whole webinar. Okay. So yeah, so just a bit of introduction on the workflow on milestone 7. As you know, with the roadmap of where Unit 4 is taking this software, Unit 4 is bringing more and more functionality of the desktop to the web. And so one of the major modules or major features of milestone 7 is the fact that you can do all workflow functionality in the web now. So you no longer need to limit yourself to the desktop. And so that opens up a lot of doors, because you no longer need to, from an IT infrastructure point of view, you don't need to set up servers or anything to connect to remote desktops or the desktop version of UBW. Now we can just do a lot of things on the web. And I believe workflow was one of the probably highest requested feature that users wanted on the web. So we're glad to see that it's finally on there. So as you can see, I've got a screenshot there of a process definition. So in just a bit, we're going to go through on see how to create a new process definition in the web. And I'll just point out kind of like the little changes or differences that you have in the web versus the desktop. So for logging values on workflow, it's especially useful when you're troubleshooting. As you can see from the screenshot below, so in the bottom right-hand corner, you've got logged values. So that's especially useful if you've got OR splits, and if something's gone wrong, so let's say your transaction has gone to the unexpected OR split, you can check easily what might have happened rather than having to go through the tables or going through the application and looking at the transactions and all that. So it's quite easy to do, to set it up, and I think it saves a lot of time for IT administrators and support teams. Sorry, I think someone just... Is anyone else having issues with the mic? Okay. Sorry, is this better? Okay, great. I think the majority of you can hear me fine, so I think it might be an individual laptop. So I might move on. Thank you for everyone's replies. And finally, so, okay, moving on, we go to user-defined actions. So sometimes the default actions, so approve, reject. Sorry, can everyone also, it might help that if everyone mutes their mics as well, so the background chatter, we can eliminate that. Is that okay? Sorry, I'm just muting everyone so we don't get background chatter anymore. Bear with me. Okay, thank you all. Okay, so finally, so our last topic of the webinar is to go through user-defined actions. So sometimes default actions are not enough, or if you want to just make it easier for the user to click the right buttons, we can always create user-defined actions. And there's quite a few uses for that. So aside from making your workflow approval screen look pretty or useful, if you're doing any SQL or querying any of the tables, it's much easier to identify a particular user-defined action rather than having to narrow down your criteria along with that approved action, if that makes sense. So I'll show you guys how to create a user-defined action as well. And then again, if you have any questions, you can ask me at the end of the webinar. Okay. So